Harry Potter is arguably the book series that quite literally had one of the biggest global impacts a children's book has had in a long time. There is no piece of conventional media the Potterverse hasn't taken over, which is why it's unusual that the newest edition may be under fire already. Today we're talking about the fact that a Hogwarts Legacy game is coming, but will it ruin Harry Potter forever? The Potterverse domination. Back when the books were released, starting in 1997, no one predicted the mass global impact these books would have on pop culture around the world. In 2016, the estimated worth of the entire franchise was deemed to be around $25 million. Joanne Kathleen Rowling, or as she's more famously known, J.K. Rowling, has managed to build an empire out of her world of fiction. The Harry Potter movies came by at just the right time to elevate the book's popularity and heightened it further. The movie series went on for a decade, raking in copious amounts of money globally. Obviously, marketing strategies made sure there were Harry Potter Lego toys, fan-create media, and everything else to keep the interest at peak for this strange yet new world. For the longest time, Harry Potter enthusiasts, or as they like to call themselves, Potterheads, begged the author to release new media, perhaps out of regression-based nostalgia or genuine desire for new content. But this is where it starts moving downhill, the rise and fall of the author. You must be wondering how an author goes from being so universally adored to one of the most condemned people in any online space, enough for most creators using her brand to want to distance themselves from the author. As it stands, such is the case for the creators of the game Hogwarts Legacy as well. The game, set in the magical world of Harry Potter in the 1800s, is a role-playing game designed to help fans and enthusiasts learn more about the world lore, as well as bank on the nostalgia people already associate with their childhood. Ironically enough, the game, famously titled Hogwarts Legacy, wishes to escape the horrible, politically incorrect legacy Rowling seems to have created for herself. From unashamedly proclaiming wildly offensive claims about part of the LGBTQIA+ community to being titled a sellout, there's little Rowling has left to do to lose the remaining support she does possess. Initial damage control. In an FAQ revealed by Warner Bros. Games, the company behind Hogwarts Legacy outlined very specifically how J.K. Rowling was not directly involved in the creation of the game. The direct quote in fact states, "J.K. Rowling is not directly involved in the creation of the game, however, her extraordinary body of writing is the foundation of all projects in the wizarding world." This, of course, is usually considered a bad omen to readers and fans alike, but it seems as though Warner Bros. Games are using the lack of Rowling's involvement as a good thing, and perhaps even an effective marketing strategy. Strike one, the beginning. So here's the tea. Strike one, if you will. Up until 2018, Rowling was hailed as this phenomenal, politically correct individual, with many fans even hailing her as some sort of savior. Rowling was just as much a part of the Harry Potter fandom as her world of fiction was, as the community fawned over her every move. But things that are good rarely last. After more than 2 decades of making individuals, regardless of their background, feel accepted and supported, Rowling went ahead and ruined a nice thing by exposing herself and liking a tweet that referred to trans women as men in dresses. This, of course, immediately spawned backlash that was quickly swept under the rug by the representative of the original poster, claiming it was posted in a clumsy and middle-aged moment. This made people wary, as many fans of the LGBT+ community had taken solace in her work, going as far as to create fan art, be it in the form of writings and drawings, to depict their favorite characters as members of the community. And why wouldn't they, when up until now, Rowling had seemed like a staunch ally of the movement, even revealing that Albus Dumbledore, the headmaster of Hogwarts, identified as a gay man. Her feminist beliefs and her openly talking about issues considered taboo at the time was enough to fuel the belief that she was a social activist. Strike two, it gets worse. In December of 2019, Rowling went ahead and did another Twitter thing to piss people and fans off. She openly expressed support for Maya Forstater in one of her tweets, which was awfully received. Considering Maya Forstater was a British tax expert whose employer decided to not renew her contract after she made offensive claims about the trans community, she immediately garnered a huge amount of backpacks. This wasn't further helped when Maya's case for herself was that her views on the matter should be considered a protected belief under the Equality Act of 2010. Obviously, the court ruled against her, but Rowling stood firm on her decision to be ignorant. Many Twitter users and fans asked the author to perhaps inform herself on the transgender community. GLAAD, the popular LGBTQ organization, also offered to have an off-the-record conversation with her, but were apparently declined by her publicist. Strike three, the worst one yet. If you thought that was the worst of it, we have bad news for you. In January 2020, Rowling, in what she probably thought was a well-reasoned argument argument, decided to criticize an article's word choice. The article, titled Opinion, Creating a More Equal Post-COVID-19 World for People Who Menstruate, to Rowling seemed ridiculous, as she went on typing a spiel of tweets addressing the matter. She wrote that, if sex isn't real, there's no same-sex attraction. If sex isn't real, the lived reality of women globally is erased. This rightfully made people even more mad at her, even as she claimed that she respects every trans person's right to live in any way that feels authentic and comfortable to them, and insisted on knowing and loving trans people, as it came across as a thinly veiled transphobia. Given these claims and views, she's been deemed TERF, or trans-exclusionary radical feminist, as she identifies as feminist but still excludes trans women in her feminism. GLAAD responded to her claims saying that she continues to align herself with an ideology which willfully distorts facts about gender identity and people who are trans. In 2020, there is no excuse for targeting trans people. Not only are these claims incredibly harmful to the trans community, which has been fighting for visibility for the longest time, but they also contradict her past claims about inclusivity in her writing. Having a widely acclaimed author encouraging and supporting claims that outwardly promote hate towards a marginalized community is deemed hypocritical of her, considering how she's claimed that the wizarding world is for everyone. Many fans that identify as LGBT and allies all now feel as if the space is forever tainted with her words and that the magic of the world is perhaps lost. The franchise response. Like the creators of the game, many actors of the Harry Potter movie franchise have come out as openly expressing support for the community and distancing themselves from the author. Actor Daniel Radcliffe, who played the title character, released a lengthy statement claiming transgender women are women. Any statement to the contrary erases the identity and dignity of transgender people and goes against all advice given by professional healthcare associations who have far more expertise on this subject matter than either Joe or I, and that fans who found comfort in the wizarding world shouldn't feel otherwise. He wrote, "If you found anything in these stories that resonate with you and helped you at any time in your life, then that is between you and the book that you read, and it is sacred." Soon, many other actors like Ivana Lynch, Eddie Redmayne, Emma Watson, Bonnie Wright, Norma Dumenzi, and many others followed suit, with either tweets or statements to express support towards the trans community. Secondary damage control. Failed attempts at inclusion. This goes to show the extent of criticism Rowling has brought upon herself. Creators of Hogwarts Legacy are put in an extremely difficult position by using Rowling's inherent property whilst trying to market the game to all audiences. Rowling unapologetically dubbing herself as an innocent caught in a cancel culture web only assists in alienating more long-time Harry Potter enthusiasts, adding to the potential of this game failing terribly once it hits the market. The game has been receiving a large amount of backlash already, even before being released, as comments made on the game's lead designer Troy Levitt's YouTube channel resurfaced. The comments include anti-feminist rhetoric and are all in all terrible politically speaking. This only adds to the player's lack of trust in the game, as Warner Bros. Games fails to create a safe environment where all fans feel welcome to participate in the gameplay. Apparently, the game has taken measures to separate themselves from Rowling's specific comments by including a more inclusive character creation system that separates voice and body type from gender. This could be the creator's way of re-establishing good faith between the offended party and the wizarding world. However, many saw this to be a cover-up. Games reporter Kate Gray claimed trans people and identities are not a PR shield. It's anyone's guess what Warner Bros. Might bring to the table to help boost the game's sales, as right now many feel disconnected from the Harry Potter world. And with that, we wrap up this video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed watching the video, be sure to leave a like and comment down below, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications to get notified every time we post a new video.